My name is Hannah, and this is my beauty budget. Hey y'all, so I just filmed a Chatty get ready with me. I was trying to chat, it was a bit of a mess, but I chatted, I got ready, I filmed it, and this is the look. And it's a getting ready with new makeup, and it's interesting because I just did a huge declutter. I just decluttered my whole collection and filmed it all. So all of this stuff is new to me, but it's also makeup that I've used enough to know that I wanted to keep it. It all made it through the declutter. So it's like new, good makeup, except for the Kevyn Aucoin Foundation Balm, which I did review thoroughly in this video. So I am going to let you know before I start the video, before I transition to the meat of the video, exactly what I put on my face so that you guys will know what it is I'm demonstrating and I guess reviewing. But before that, I wanted to let you know that this video is once again sponsored by Home Chef. Home Chef sponsoring me at the beginning of this video to just let you guys know about their boxes to pass along my discount code to you. It's not an affiliate code, but it does save you a good bit of money if you sign up for trying out a couple of boxes. It's something like $20 off of your first 4 boxes, I think, $80 total that you save. So that's pretty much like getting a free box. And I've been really impressed lately by how quick Home Chef meals are to cook. I'm a seasoned chef. I have a ton of my own recipes. I love to cook, and we usually ritualistically go grocery shopping and get all of these groceries. We really have it together when it comes to food, but we don't always manage to do that ritual every week. And it's been amazing when we can't scrape it together to be able to get a box from Home Chef and not have to think about planning the meals. Like, it saves me the emotional labor of planning out the meals for the week because I just have to select on the website which ones we want. And then they're so quick to cook. My recipes, the ones that I've collected, they tend to be these huge productions with many stages that take a long time and produce huge amounts of food and lots of leftovers, which is great. But I was just really, really impressed this month at how fast Home Chef meals are to cook. It's like, oh, you can cook a full meal with like meat and vegetables and starch in under 20 minutes. So if you're interested, all of the information will be at the top of the description box. As always, thank you so much to Home Chef for sponsoring the beginning portion of this video. I really appreciate that. And let me tell you what it is that I put on my face. So the star product on the eyes is one of the Multichromes from Clionadh. It's the one called Weathered. I also used the Kaleidos Sci-Fi Futurism palette, the green one. I also used one of the Rowan shadows, 2 of the Rowan shadows. So I put like all of these crazy, creamy, multi-textured and chromatic eyeshadows on my eyes. That was super fun. I used a new eyeliner from Milani. I used a glitter eyeliner from Deck of Scarlet. I used the Kevyn Aucoin Foundation Balm. I totally forgot to put on concealer. You'll see me towards the end of the video going, oh my goodness. I used these 2 glowy powders, this Elcie powder and this Givenchy powder. I used a new setting spray. I used new lip products, and I feel like that's enough information. You have a sense now of what you're getting into. Let's go ahead and get into the meat of the video. Hi guys, hi. Here I am. Gosh, I feel squeaky in my voice and pretty low energy. I'm quite tired today. I'm gonna start getting ready and then I'll explain it to you, but sometimes, frequently actually, sitting down and putting on makeup, especially if I'm filming, helps to pep me up. So hopefully the Hannah that you just saw in the introduction was more high energy than the Hannah that you're now seeing. So I'm using the VDL Lumi Layer Primer. This was given to me at the VDL booth at BeautyCon, and I love it. I love it. I talked recently about how much I love it in my lip product declutter because they also gave me a couple of lippies that I decluttered forthwith. I think I like this primer because it's perfectly balanced. It feels hydrating, but it doesn't feel super hydrating like the Becca ones, for example. It doesn't feel like lotiony, but it also doesn't feel silicone-y, but at the same time, it feels like it's providing a layer between my skin and my skincare and the makeup I'm about to put on top of it. It feels protective. And it also feels not gluey, like it's not super gluey and tacky like the one from Milk that everyone's talking about, the really, really sticky one. It's not like that, but it definitely feels like it's providing something for the makeup to adhere to. And it's got that beautiful, almost rainbowy light reflecting pigment running through it. sort of flaw softening and color correcting, but without being like super intense in any one direction of color, and without even being too super intensely luminous. Again, it's not like the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless filter or the Becca backlight priming filter or something. It's like the perfect medium. I'm gonna start with eyes. Maybe I shouldn't even have primed my face because I might get some fallout on my eyes, but that's just the kind of day that I'm having, or like that's the kind of state I'm in. I'm just a little bit not completely all there right now. And it's because I've been working so hard. I've been doing so much filming. What happened is that I got the weekend to myself at home. This weekend is a big weekend for Joe's current creative project. So he's been completely out of the house and I've just been filming like a mad woman. I need to start getting ready so that I don't just talk and talk and talk. I have really been wanting to make a look that spotlights this shadow from the Clionadh stained glass collection. It's one of the multichromes. It's called Weathered, but it's one of the multichromes that doesn't shift like dramatically from one type of color to another. It's not like red to blue or something. It's like chartreuse yellow to chartreuse green to like a grungy gray. So it's shifting subtly from color to color, sort of all in the same color family. Okay, I primed my eyes. I'm gonna pack this all over my lids with my fingers, and then I'm gonna blend it out. And the other new palette that I'm hoping to use is this Kaleidos Futurism Sci-Fi Green palette. And I might even go in, not with this Rowan quad, but with this, which is the Summer Disco single on my brow bone, because I've actually been really enjoying blending the Rowan shadows with other shadows. So Joe is not usually out for work. He does a lot of work at home and a lot of work in our studio. And I really love being at home alone and working at home alone. So it was a rare opportunity for me. So I sprung up yesterday morning, and as soon as he left the house, I started filming. And I set the camera up for overhead filming because I wanted to do some declutters. And boy, did I ever. I filmed my lipstick reckoning, lipstick declutter. Those will probably have both gone up just one after the other right before this video. And then I filmed color cosmetics for the face declutter, and I decluttered my eyeshadow palettes. I basically decluttered my whole collection, some of it very intensively and in a hardcore way, and some of it just kind of like a gentle weeding. But it's a lot of videos. I decluttered my glitter, and all of these videos will be coming shortly. I don't think that it would be anyone's preference for me to put them all up one right after another in a row, because then it would be like 10 solid videos where you don't see my face. And also I have to film like my check-in, and I'm gonna do like a talking about new releases and all that stuff. So it'll be all interspersed with the face-to-face videos that I'm filming today. This is the second day that Joe's out of the house. Usually my ability to film is limited by time and space and schedule. So this was maybe one of the first opportunities I've ever had to kind of film unchecked. Like Joe was gone from early in the morning until quite late in the evening. So there was nothing keeping me from just working and working and working on my YouTube channel. With a creative project, which thank goodness YouTube still is for me. I hope it never stops being that. I mean, if it ever stops being that, I'll probably stop doing it. It's become fulfilling in a lot of other ways. You know, it's not a baby project anymore, but ultimately it's a creative project, and I still love it with the passion with which I've always loved creative projects, art projects. And my favorite way to spend a weekend since I was a child has always been to work on a creative project. Like that's my favorite thing to do. So it's my favorite thing to do. I had the whole weekend to do it, and I think I worked too hard yesterday. I filmed so many videos. I was talking just nonstop, and I couldn't stop. I didn't want to stop, but I had this weird feeling by the end of the day that I had been kind of drained of all of my humors. Not like humor, but like my humors, like, you know, my ichor and my blood and my oxygen. I don't know if oxygen's a humor, is it? I know ichor and blood, but what are the other humors? Water? Water's not a humor. Ether? Is ether a humor? So I'm going to go in with the Rowan shadow on my brow bone, and then I'm going to start blending it with like a little dense brush blending it into this eyeshadow. So what was I saying? Something about my humors. Oh, right, I got completely drained. And then I knew that this was going to happen, but I sort of wasn't putting it together that expending a ton of energy during the day might not prime me for what happened in the evening, which was that a really dear friend from graduate school, another poet, we were in graduate school for poetry together. She just happened to be in town in LA this weekend for a workshop, and she came over and we went out to dinner and we hung out for hours and we talked and caught up. I struggle to uphold long distance friendships with people who require upkeep in their long distance friendships. So I do have a number of really lovely lifelong long distance friends, but we just don't talk unless we happen to be in the same city. I don't like talking on the phone. I don't know, for me it's kind of like out of sight, out of mind, like I'm doing what I'm doing at that moment. And what that has meant is that I know not everyone's like that. I know that some people consider me to be a bad friend because I can't, I mean, I don't even like talk that much on the phone with like my sister and my mom, and we're just not really big like super communicators over long distances. But when we get together, my sister, my mom, and the friends with whom I've settled into these wonderful lifelong long distance friendships, it's like we've never stopped. Like we pick up right where we left off. There's no awkwardness, and there's no awkwardness about the fact that we haven't talked in a long time. My friend who was visiting is, we are two peas in the same pod, but we hadn't seen each other for a long time. So we just started talking a mile a minute. We went out to this adorable sort of wine bar, bohemian restaurant type of place. We had food, we talked and talked and talked and talked, but I had already been talking all day. I had been talking to you guys when I was filming my declutters. I woke up this morning and I did feel a little bit like I'd been hit by a bus, but I have to keep filming today. I have to film more, and I'm happy to be here. I'm not saying that I'm like miserable and I wish that I could curl up into a ball. I don't. I actually love this, and I already feel revived. So, but that's kind of where I was coming from when I first turned the camera on and I was like, hi, I'm a grub. So I'm actually gonna pop a little bit of Obviously, which is this lightest champagne Rowan shadow on like the inner part of underneath my eyebrows. So right here, just to blend all of this into my skin, because it's got lots of flaky micas in it, but it's kind of close to my skin tone, so it'll add some texture there, but without adding any darkness. And I'm tempted also to put that in my inner corner, but because I want to play with this Kaleidos palette, I'm going to put one of the Kaleidos shadows in my inner corner. I think I'm going to go in with, actually, no. I am going to put that Rowan shadow on my inner corner, at least to start. We'll see what happens later. But I want this like bright gold, textury bright gold in my inner corner and on the inner part of my lid, like the inner fifth of my lid. This look is becoming very weird. Very weird, because the flaky, creamy micas in the Rowan shadows, I put a bunch of that down on the inner part of my eye, and then I put more of the multichrome on top of it. So it's like making the multichrome kind of crackly, like crinkly, and it's causing it to reflect light and color in a bunch of different directions in the inner part of my eye. It's cool. It's really cool. They're fun to play with together. But I really think that I need to start deepening up the outer corner and kind of sculpting this look. So for this, I am going to use the Kaleidos palette, and I am going to use black, but I'm going to soften the black with these matte greens. So I'll be dipping into the matte greens to sort of lay down some darkness in the outer corner and up on the outer part of my lid, and then I'll be using black to darken that darkness. I guess I could keep touching base about my channel. I filmed Hannah Reads. I finally did it, and I enjoyed doing it so much. I enjoyed it so much, you guys. It was like I finally kind of like made myself do it. I took the pressure off of myself. I had been doing that thing where I was like, my vision of it was I was like, I'm going to like give commentary on every poem, and I'm going to give a biography of Robert Frost at the beginning, and I'm going to give like a monologue about the wonders of poetry, and I'm going to interpret it for everyone. How, you know what I mean? I was like, I was thinking I would like give like a PhD lecture on Robert Frost and read the poems at the same time. And because I had been thinking that that would be Hannah Reads and holding myself to that standard, I didn't have the time or energy to do that. So I kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off because I had this idea in my head that it had to be this way, and I couldn't do that. So I was defaulting to not doing it at all. It's kind of like sometimes I'll get an email from, you know, a friend that I really love, and like a great email, and I'll really want to respond at length and do it justice. But my idea of doing the email justice is like this, you know, gossipy 5-page, I guess there aren't really pages in emails, but you know, like 10-paragraph, beautifully written long letter. And I don't have time for that. So what will happen is I won't ever respond. I'll like receive the email. I'll really want to do it justice. And because I can't, and my vision of doing it justice is this like fantasy, it's kind of connected to everything I've been talking about lately. I'll just never respond, which is way, way worse than it would be if I wrote like a short email back, even like a 2-paragraph email, you know? So it's just like way better to like find a way to do the thing and do it well, even if you're not doing it like 150 million% like your fantasy vision of it. So that's what I ended up doing with Hannah Reads. I was like, okay, I'm not going to give commentary. I'm not going to do a bio at the beginning. I'm just going to read the poems. And once I conceived of that, I was like, I can do that. And I did it, and I loved it. Okay, so the camera stopped recording while I was finishing that up, but I didn't really do much more than what I was already doing. I just kind of kept putting black in the outer corner. And then I decided that to make this eye look even weirder, I am going to put this red Milani eyeliner in my waterline. So it's in the shade Picante, and I think that this was in the little gift bag that the Milani booth representative gave me at BeautyCon. I do think that this isn't quite the shade of red that my eyes would turn if they were irritated, and there's something about it that, because the eye look is already so grungy, to me it does look intentional. You guys will have to let me know what you think when I zoom in. I also think that mascara is going to help a lot. Oh no, there's something I forgot I wanted to do. I wanted to make it even more crazy because I have been really wanting to use this on camera. This was handed to me also at BeautyCon. It's by Deck of Scarlet, and it is a liquid glitter eyeliner in the shade Sparkler. It's kind of like a slightly coppery rose gold. I think it's got some rose gold glitters, some gold glitters, and some silver glitters in it. And it's so well performing. It's very thickly packed with glitter. It's more densely packed with glitter than the ones from Urban Decay. And it doesn't sting my eyes like the ones from Urban Decay. So I'm putting it on as an eyeliner on top of my lash line. Just one line. Not a wing, just one line. Okay, you might not be able to see that until I zoom in, and also it's not adding the same kind of pow to this look, which is already extremely dramatic, as it adds to other looks that I've done that have been more low-key, or sometimes I just put a single line of this at my lash line on a bare lid. It's a very beautiful way to wear glitter for day. So it's not quite doing that, but I do think it's cool. And I'll zoom in at the end after I finish my full face so that you can see it, everything close up. Okay, there we have the look, pretty much. I think I'm gonna stick with that for now. I might mess with it a little bit after I have everything else on my face, but I think that that's pretty much gonna be it. I'm gonna clean up a little bit of fallout with tape. I don't wanna get those multichrome bits smeared on my face. I'm gonna pop a little bit more of the hastily applied primer. I shouldn't have put it on so early. I'm gonna pop a little bit, just a tiny bit, like a half pump of that back on my cheeks where I clean up all of that fallout. And also sometimes I find that the primer kind of helps to smear away the last of it. Look at that primer, look how it looks on my cheeks. Can you see that? I just think it looks so, it's like glass-like. But then on me, it's like glass-like on this like redness, or the, you know, kind of a darkness of my face. So I'm going to add some product on top of it. And actually what I'm going to do is to use the Kevyn Aucoin foundation balm. This came to me through Octoly. It's silicone. It's basically like a pot of a ColourPop Blur Luxe lipstick. Like, you know how those lipsticks that are designed to blur the lips, ColourPop has one, MAC has one, they're just very silicone-y. Like that's how they get that sort of soft blurring effect. It's like the silicone sort of coating the skin and like diffusing light. And that's what this is. It's like a pot of flesh-colored silicone, kind of like a silicone primer. And there are benefits to that. One of the main benefits is that a little goes the longest way. Like, you just tap the brush in and I'll show you, it'll go forever. Like, look how much coverage I got. And I'm buffing it out really, really, really thin. Like, I'm really, really buffing it. You know, I like a very light coverage. There's so little product on the brush and so little product on my skin, and it's really provided like a sheer veil of coverage. Not sheer, although I've sheared it out quite a bit, so you can kind of see some of my redness in there, but I'm going to put concealer there anyway, so I mean that's what I almost always do. The fact that it's silicone-y like that has drawbacks. One of them is that it tends to kind of cling to dry patches. It tends to wear away a little bit. It's almost like when you first apply it, it has the ability to look really skin-like and beautiful and like softly blurring, just like those blur lipsticks. But then it's like very scrapable, very scrape-awayable. It's almost like it's a very delicate situation. The surface of it can be disturbed really easily. And that plasticky nature, that silicone-y nature, the sort of weird silicone-y balminess it's almost like it makes it not nourishing for the skin. So if your skin is troubled underneath it, it's sort of going to work against the coverage, like the way that the coverage sits on your skin. I do really like the format, I have to say. Liquid foundations to me are more trouble than they're worth. It's like a pain in the butt. That's part of why I liked the stick one. I like being able to just grab it and get it on the skin. The whole like dotting it on, having it on your hand, pumping it, blending it, you know, disposing of the excess. Like I really like things that are convenient. And I've found myself reaching for this over and over and over again during makeup playtime to just quickly clean up my face and get like a clean slate. I've actually made a lot of use out of it as a tool because it's so easy to use. And I never use foundation or concealer like that in makeup playtime. I usually just let my face get dirty. It was very helpful when I was filming that playtime video with the Clionadh Cosmetics shadows, because I kept being able to like clean up slightly messy under eye areas super fast. There's something about this brush and pot combo that I really, really love. I think from a distance it's really nice. I don't know if I would really want to go out with this on my skin. I don't know if I would want people to see me close up, but I'm like that with every foundation. Yeah, you can really see it. It's like accentuating dry patches that I never see, because the silicone's like gathering in the little corners all around the little dry patches. So I never usually see how dry I am, like right here on the tip of my forehead. It's gathering in a very unflattering way in the corners of my nose. So yeah, this is like really good for makeup playtime, really good for camera work for me as a YouTuber. I might keep it around just as a tool for that. I'm not going to be wearing it for the Poema photo shoots though, and I'm not going to be wearing it ever in my daily life to be seen by people. I don't usually wear foundation that way, to be fair, but I particularly wouldn't want the obviousness of this sitting on my skin to be like part of my makeup for like a party or a dinner or something like that. Let's do brows. I just dyed my brows, so all I need is soap I wanted to demo though this new Elcie the Eclipse highlighter in the shade Luna. This was also given to me at BeautyCon by the Ulta people. I can't get it open. Oh, there we go. I talked about it in it made it through my like highlighter bronzer declutter that I filmed yesterday. That won't have gone up yet today, but it made it through, and you'll see me talking when you watch that about how if I just use, so this is a fluffy highlighting brush and I'm tapping off a lot of it. So just using a tiny bit and then really buffing it sort of gently at first, and then kind of pressing it into the skin. It can really give like a super glossy, glassy effect. Something about the formula, if I use it sparingly enough, if I build it up, it can look very metallic. But if I tap it off and I just use it lightly, it ends up looking very glossy. I hope that you can see that. I can't tell, the monitor's too far away, I can't tell. You know, it's not like beaming like a mirror, but it's just, it looks like kind of glassy, and I'm really into that. The other product that it's similar, but it's got a little bit more pigment. It's this Givenchy Healthy Glow Powder. So I'm actually gonna use this to sculpt a little bit. And I have been really into putting down like my highlighting product before I put down any kind of more pigmented color product on my face lately, because I find I'm more likely to get that glossy look if the highlighter is made direct contact with my skin instead of the pigments in the highlighter having to fight with the pigments of something kind of darker underneath it. So this is not really a sculpting powder. I mean, this is designed for what I was using the Elcie product for, but because I have such fair skin, I can use this like basically as a bronzer, but it's really not, I don't think it's supposed to be a bronzer really. I requested it from Octoly because I thought it might serve kind of as a slightly different toned version of the Kevyn Aucoin Neo highlighter that I used for a bronzer, because that Neo highlighter leans a little bit more pink and this one leans a little bit kind of like apricot brown. There, it's definitely darkening my neck to better match the way that my complexion looks because of that foundation balm. And I did want to mention that with green on the eyes, or sort of like yellowy green, this kind of tone on the eyes, I always go for a bronzy color on the cheeks rather than a blush with peach, pink, apricot, coral, anything like pink or peach. I never pair those blushes with a green eye look. I always go for super neutral bronzy cheeks. I feel like the color balance is a lot better. I mean, obviously you could do like a red or a pink or a coral cheek with a green look. For me to pull it off, I feel like it would need to be overtly editorial, like a really strong contrasting look. In general, if I'm going for just kind of general pleasing glam, general pleasing gritty glam. That's I'm going to change my channel name to General Pleasing Gritty Glam with Hannah. If I'm doing that, then I always go for bronze tones on the face, warming up the face in sort of a brown way when I'm using green on the eyes. I'm gonna put my mole back on. All right, I just had to change my camera battery, but I was saying that I always set my mole with whatever powder is on the brush because it helps it blend into the skin and look more natural, and it also helps it not to wear off throughout the day. It helps to set it down. The glowy glossy powders together are really working for me. I'm here for it. I do want to set my face though, because that using like glossy powder all over a 34-year-old face, it can be a little bit aging at close range. So I don't always set my face with powder kind of to blend the powder into the skin. I mean, with setting spray to blend the powder into the skin. I don't always do that because I don't powder my face. So a lot of times like the blush or the highlight doesn't require setting. I'll do it for fun, but with this look, with all of this like glossy powder, I actually do feel like it needs to be set. And this is also a new product, so I'm continuing to fulfill the claims of this video. It's the LA Girl Shimmer Spray. So it's a finishing spray for face and body, and I like it. I've been using it a lot. Shimmer Spray Gold. The mister is very good. It's really well performing. The shimmer isn't something that like sits on your skin and looks glittery. Like I do notice it makes me more glowy, but I never kind of find glitter like down here after I used it. I do want to put on this Color Reshine in the shade Glossy Fawn, which was one of my purchases this month. I haven't talked about that yet on my channel. Yes, I have. I've talked about it a bunch of times. I haven't officially announced it in the video in which I talk about what I purchased, but I think like everyone knows at this point that I bought these 2 Color Reshine lipsticks. But I don't want that all over my lips. I don't want like my whole lip area to be like shiny and glossy. So I'm going to put down, this is a new lip liner to me. It's also from LA Girl, and it is in the color Cafe. I'm actually going to put this all over my lips, and then I'm going to kind of finish it with a little bit of this just in the middle. So when I had the camera up close to line my lips, I became aware that the foundation it looks really bad. I'll do a close-up right now so that you can see it, but it's settling into my laugh lines, which rarely are accentuated on me. I mean, like these lines, marionette lines around my mouth, you can really see it, even though I buffed it out to such a thin layer and that I just set my face with setting spray. It's like not cute. You can really see it gathering into my forehead lines and around my nose. Oh my gosh, you know what I totally forgot to do is to use any concealer. Isn't that wild? I'm so unused to wearing foundation that after I had it on my face, I was like, all right, my complexion is done. I didn't even do any spot concealing, which is good. I guess the foundation covered up so many spots that I didn't even like think to do it. But what that means is that I'm very ruddy kind of on the inner cheek area. And I did bring those powder products across my nose kind of on purpose, like, you know, that like sunburn across the nose look. But I quite like it. I like the sort of glowiness. And I also think that that might be part of why I really like the overall effect of my complexion right now, because it doesn't have that like spotlight in the center of the face glowy look that not glowy, but like that brightened look that concealer gives you. I also consider that to be a very makeup-y look. So there's the forehead situation. And those are my fine lines. I mean, like you can see, like I've got wrinkles there on my forehead because, you know, I'm in my mid-30s and they're always there, but you can't always see them so easily when my face is relaxed. And I don't know how well you'll be able to see the way it's accentuating these dry patches on my forehead right here, but that I also usually don't see that. There's the eye look. Around my nose, you see that? Right there. I usually don't get that either. And you see this gathering in my line right there. I usually don't get that either. Should I do that thing where I go through and like review? This wasn't a first impressions video, but I can like tell you what I think of everything. The Rowan shadows, they're just so fun to blend in and like mix on my eyes with other stuff. It's actually been one of my favorite things about having them and using them, so you can see how dimensional those reflex are, like on my brow bone and on my inner corner. Pretty cool. The Kaleidos palette, I didn't say anything about it when I was working with it, but the quality is just top notch. I've been completely blown away by it. And I've gotten some requests on Instagram because I posted an Instagram picture made fully with this palette. I'll insert that right here so you can see it. It's kind of like a more normal smoky eye version of what I've done today. This look on my eyes today is a little more weird and wild, but I've gotten some requests to do a plain old green smoky eye with this palette. Maybe I will film that as like a standalone tutorial if you guys want to see it, just straight up like eye makeup demonstration. But I love this palette. The quality is amazing, and that black is from my dreams. I mean, that's like the best black eyeshadow ever. What else? I love the red eyeliner. I've been putting it on with almost every look, and I love how it looks with purple looks. I love how it looks with green looks. I just love what it adds to neutral looks. I mean, I've just been really into that kind of like wine red eyeliner as a statement lately. I've been very impressed by the glitter. Like all of this stuff is really impressing me, and actually that's probably because I just decluttered everything. So when I sat down to film playing with new makeup, I was pulling new makeup that's made it through the declutter and into my collection. Maybe I should have said that at the beginning. Oh, I haven't filmed the intro yet. I'll say that in the intro. I'll make that clear in the intro. Anyway, so I you know, I don't need to give, except for the foundation balm. This is still in the purgatory box, and my guess at this point is that I will keep it because I find it so convenient, and it's useful for photography, it's useful for makeup playtime, it's useful for filming, but I'm not going to be using it and wearing it as a foundation because it's just, you know, all of that stuff that I'm dealing with that you saw in the close-up is just, you know, it's like not okay with me. It's not how I roll. But everything else, the face powders, the eyeshadow, this amazing Clionadh eyeshadow, like everything else is just helping me live my best life right now. This is a really fun look to put together, and I still feel a little worn out, but I do feel a little bit peppier than I did at the beginning of the video. So I think that's everything. Is that everything? All right, I sat for a minute and thought about it, and I determined that that is everything. Thank you again so much to Home Chef for sponsoring the beginning portion of this video. Once again, I'll leave everything linked at the very top of the description box down below in case you're interested in checking out Home Chef. You can click through and try it at a discount. And thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. And I hope that you are remembering to take extra good care of yourself right now, so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.